Have you ever looked at someone and thought you already knew who they were, just from a single glance? A clean shirt, a confident walk, a quiet smile, and suddenly your mind fills in the blanks. We all do it. Psychologists call it the halo effect, but sometimes those first impressions lead us down unexpected paths. This is the story of Daniel, a boy in a crisp white shirt, and the teacher whose mistake changed everything. It was the start of a school year in a small California town. The air smelled of chalk dust and fresh pencils. Students filed into math class, dragging their feet, whispering jokes, tapping their sneakers against the linoleum floor. And then Daniel walked in. The new kid. His shirt was white, so bright it seemed to glow under the classroom lights. His hair was neatly combed, his shoes polished, his shoulders squared. He didn't look like someone who belonged in the back row. He looked like someone destined for the front. Mr. Johnson, the teacher, noticed right away. This boy, he thought, is going to be one of my best. From that moment, Daniel carried something invisible. Not just his backpack, not just his books, but the weight of his teacher's expectations. For weeks, Daniel said little. He sat in the front row, nodded politely, turned in his homework. His answers weren't brilliant, but Mr. Johnson didn't notice. Every time Daniel stumbled, the teacher gave him the benefit of the doubt. A missed step was just nerves. A wrong answer was just a slip. To the rest of the class, Daniel was just another student. To Mr. Johnson, Daniel was already shining. Then came the first test. The classroom was silent, the scratch of pencils echoing like tiny clocks. Later, when Mr. Johnson sat at his desk grading papers, Daniel's test stopped him cold. Mistakes, miscalculations, wrong answers. The score wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anywhere near the brilliance he had imagined. Mr. Johnson leaned back, a weight pressing on his chest. He realized the truth. He had been fooled by a shirt, a haircut, a posture. He had let a first impression cloud his judgment. He felt guilty. A teacher's job is to see clearly, to guide fairly, and he had failed. However, in the weeks after that disappointing test, Daniel began to change, slowly, quietly, almost imperceptibly at first. His hand went up a little more often. His homework came back with fewer errors. His test scores began to rise, climbing step by step like a hiker scaling a steep hill. By winter, he was no longer average. By spring, he was near the top. And by the end of the year, something remarkable happened. Daniel scored among the very best in the entire class. The boy who had started out shaky was now excelling. Mr. Johnson was proud but puzzled. How had Daniel turned things around so quickly? The answer didn't come right away. Not that year, not the next. It waited, like a secret tucked inside a sealed envelope, until the day Daniel graduated. Graduation day. The gymnasium buzzed with excitement. Parents clutched bouquets of flowers, cameras flashed. The air smelled faintly of fresh varnish and anticipation. Students in caps and gowns lined up on stage, one by one, receiving their diplomas. And when Daniel's name was called, applause erupted. The boy in the white shirt had grown into a young man ready for the world. Then came the moment every teacher waits for, the speeches. Students were invited to share reflections, and Daniel stepped up to the microphone. His voice was calm, steady, carrying across the hushed crowd. "I want to thank my teachers, my classmates, and my family," he began. Then he paused, looked toward the faculty row, and locked eyes with Mr. Johnson. "But there's one teacher I especially want to thank," he continued. "Mr. Johnson, my math teacher. When I first came to this school, I wasn't very good at math. In fact, I struggled a lot more than people knew. But Mr. Johnson treated me like I was already capable, like I was already someone worth believing in. He trusted me, even when I hadn't earned it yet." Daniel's voice caught for just a second, then steadied, and that trust made me want to live up to it. It made me work harder, study longer, push myself further. His faith gave me the courage to try again, and again until I finally succeeded. So thank you, Mr. Johnson. Not for seeing who I was, but for seeing who I could become. In that moment, the mystery unraveled. The reason behind Daniel's rise wasn't luck. It wasn't talent suddenly discovered. It was faith. A teacher's mistaken faith, too much, too soon, that had lit a fire in a boy's heart. Mr. Johnson sat there, tears blurring his vision, realizing that his error had been transformed into a gift. What began as a bias had become a blessing. And here's where the story reaches beyond one classroom in California, because haven't we all, at some point, been Daniel? Carrying the weight of someone's expectations, hoping to prove we're worthy of the faith placed in us, even if it's misplaced? And haven't we also been Mr. Johnson? Believing in someone a little too much, a little too soon, or maybe dismissing someone because of a single glance? Life humbles us with these moments. It teaches us that first impressions are fragile, but belief has power. Even belief born of a mistake can shape a life. So the next time you see someone and your mind fills in the blanks, pause. Ask yourself, what if my faith, even if imperfect, is the spark they need to grow? Because sometimes a crown placed too early still makes us stand taller, and in standing taller, we grow into it. Even when our eyes deceive us, our belief in another person may still be the very thing that helps them believe in themselves. Sometimes the greatest gifts we give are born not from certainty, but from faith.